So let's get an update with you. It's been 3 years. We talked last time about your own personal story and how you found the carnivore diet and all of that. Like, where are you today as far as your eating? Are you still carnivore? Is it still something you preach and practice and coach? Where are you at with all that stuff today?
Yeah, so absolutely, I'm still carnivore. I think some people would probably want to argue some nitty-gritty points with me because I put tomato paste and stuff. I use seasonings, but I still consider myself carnivore. It's been 9 years, like you said, and I'm very happy doing it. I'm very happy sharing about it, and it's working out really well for me. Um, I've seen some really nice improvements in what I had wanted to work on. I'm sort of like the slow and steady approach to stuff, right? And like when I say like I'm working on body comp, I'm in it for the long run. And so it has been a slow process, but I have been trending in a great direction for quite some time now. And we can talk about how I deviated off plan. Things went sour for a bit, but now I'm back on and even better. So yeah, I'm sticking with it. Things are going well. I see no reason to go back to any other way of eating. And I'm doing coaching like I was before when we spoke, helping people understand that, a high protein, meat based diet, carnivore diet especially, is just great for overall health. And, helping people become comfortable with that, helping people understand what's an appropriate amount to eat, and other sort of lifestyle factors that go into reaching their goals. So yeah, I'm still in it to win it.
That's awesome. That's really great to hear. Since we're kind of here, I do want to go back and review your personal story and your journey along the way and things that you fixed. I love that you're taking the approach of doing things very long term and very gradual. I wonder if we can comment on that kind of state of the state of something that you mentioned, like the carnivore that uses a bit of tomato paste, or the level of strictness to say that you're a carnivore or not a carnivore. I've been talking more about this because I'm finding more and more of this in the community, that there seems to be like you have to define your level of carnivory or something, where I always just thought of the animal definition of carnivore is you're eating primarily animal products, and little things might sneak in. Some people might be more strict or less strict. To me, I never really got worked up about whether somebody was perfectly strict or not. So my first question is, do you think we're getting stuck in the weeds as a community as far as like trying to, take away somebody's carnivore card for eating a sliver of avocado or including, other plant foods in the diet? And secondly, I wonder what you think about, kind of the squabbling that seems to be going on when it comes to those really small percentages, when we seem to agree about so many things, but maybe have differences of opinions in other things. What are you observing as far as that goes?
So what I think is yes, generally we don't need to pull anybody's carnivore card for adding in things like avocado. I think it does a disservice. So true, avocado is not carnivore. So if you want to say I am a strict carnivore, then maybe you have to qualify it and you have to say, but sometimes I eat avocado and sometimes I eat onion and I like a little paprika, whatever it is, you feel the need to say that. But where I think the disservice there is that not everybody comes to carnivore with an autoimmune disease or a leaky gut or some kind of skin condition that they're trying to heal, right? Or Lyme disease or something where they've got to be so strict. They come to carnivore for health benefits like that I found, but they come for, some weight loss and some health benefits sort of jump on board with that, right? And then you can do that with like what I'd call 99% carnivore. Now, there are people out there that have other reasons for coming to carnivore that will say 99% carnivore is torture. Like 100% is where you need to be. Because if you're coming from a place of like, say, food addiction, sugar addiction, and you try to be 99% carnivore, except sneak in a piece of cake at, even if it's once a month at a party or at an event or a social gathering, or, have a margarita once a month, that is torture for that person. And so 100% carnivore is going to do it. But if it's going to be what they want. But for the other people who come to carnivore looking for some body recomposition, looking to gain some muscle, lose some fat, get rid of some headaches, get, normalize their periods, just give themselves nutrient dense food. If we make them be so strict that it becomes unsustainable for them, where they say, I can't do carnivore because sometimes I like avocado, or sometimes I just feel like having some lettuce. Then what happens is we push them to the outside. They feel as though, well, it didn't work for me. I may as well go back to like chips and pizza. And I don't think that's quite nice. So you can use the definition of carnivore, zero carb carnivore, or the original that what I learned from did include spices. But something like the Lion diet, which is very strict, is like meat and salt and water. I think people now are sort of saying that's real carnivore. That's what you've got to do. And I just don't think that that's what you've got to do for everybody. Like, sure, for some people, absolutely, that's what you've got to do. But that is the strictest, call it level 1 carnivore. And some people can fall into level 2, add dairy, all the way through to like level 4, where they're okay if the ribs that they're eating have been sauced in the smoker and then they order them without sauce on top. But that little bit of sauce in the smoker isn't going to affect them. And I think that that's absolutely still okay. Because if you are finding the health improvements with your version of carnivore, I'm not going to play your carnivore card. And I don't think that we should be squabbling over something like that. It doesn't make sense to say you're not carnivore because you put that chopped onion in your tuna salad. Like, come on. Nobody went wrong with a little bit of chopped onion. That's not what got anybody in the boat that they're trying to get out of. So those little things, like I like to use tomato paste, and I do some Italian style things with tomato, and it works for me. It's fine for me. I'm still on my carnivore journey with my tomato, and I know some people do it with onion and they get a lot of crap for it, and it just seems very silly to argue about some onion or some tomato.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Both of us at this point have had several years of experience in coaching other people. So I'm just going to ask this question, like observationally, what have you observed? And I would say, like with the people that I've coached, I can probably think of the number of people that I've worked with over the years that still are literally, truly, very much strict carnivore. And that number is pretty darn low. Like when you think of all the people that you have coached through a carnivore diet, how many of them, again, by necessity, they have to be there, they want to be there, are 100% strict, and they are strict all the time? Is that a very big number or
no,
pretty small?
It's not a big number at all. In fact, I can't think of a client who has ever just done beef salt and water or ruminant animal salt and water. Because the vast majority of people are just like regular people. They're not on this extreme that we see on social media like Instagram, where practically it makes good content to be extreme, right? To be the strictest of carnivore and say you cannot have anything. It's pretty good content. It's a compelling story. And that's just not everybody's reality. I think people are less focused on nutrition than the people who are yelling about nutrition online, including myself. They just want to feel better. They don't want to talk about, I'm the strictest carnivore in the land. They just want to feel better and get on with their life and play with their kids. And, so the clients that I see range from, doing what I do, like where you've got spices and a little bit of sauce, it's all, and then they go straight through up to like the low carb, where they're still eating vegetables and salads and, more than I would do. So very few people I find can sustain a very strict carnivore diet. What happens too is I see in a space, and maybe you've seen this, a lot of carnivores who, they talk about you have to be strict carnivore. All of a sudden, then they start talking about, I feel like I need a reset. I feel like I need a reset. Like, what do you need a reset from? Like, what happened? Like, what went wrong? something went wrong. And if that strictness is causing you to sort of like fall off the wagon and dip into something, that you shouldn't have, then maybe that strictness isn't working for you. And a little bit more of a relaxed approach would keep you from falling off the wagon, dipping into 2 pounds of cheese and needing a reset,
Yeah. Yeah, that's a really, really good point. One other thing I wanted to ask you, I'm hearing about this more, not something that I'm observing. When I see long-term carnivore people, I'm observing people like yourself, people like Dr. Lisa Wiedemann or Dr. Canberry, Dr. Chafee. Like I see people who look incredibly healthy. They don't look like they have any nutrient deficiencies. If they do, I'm not observing how that's like manifesting in their lives. These are very happy, active, healthy people from what I can tell. There's some people that are saying if you go too strict for too long, you will have nutrient deficiencies. I'm still struggling to connect how that is manifesting. So in your own personal experience from things you've observed with other OG carnivores like you, and the group that you got into when you first got into this, are you noticing anything that's really manifesting as far as long-term health concerns, nutrient deficiencies, eating a carnivore diet?
No, I'm not. I mean, the long-term carnivores, I don't believe that they're lying, and I do believe that they are just eating like, ribeyes. Like the Andersons, I do believe are just eating ribeyes. And there are people who swear by the fact that they don't need supplementation. They don't need to eat even liver for, nutrient density and to get the B12 and the things that they say might be lacking if you're just eating the meat without the liver. So even to that point, I think no. I don't think that being strict carnivore is going to be detrimental to anybody. I do believe you can get everything you need from just meat, salt, and water.